Good day. How are you? Welcome back to my channel on leadership development and administrative talk, coming your way right away from the Rudolph University. My name is Professor Paul Allieu Kamara, your usual anchor of this program. Today, we'll continue with our usual topic on OD, which is for short, organizational development. Please don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube. Click subscribe and forward the button. Then you can have subsequent of our publications or our previous publications will be made known to you. Today, we're looking at a unique process of OD. So we're looking at 18 examples of OD interventions. I'd like us to look at 18 good example of organizational development intervention. These interventions are so helpful to the extreme that they would help boost your organization and give you a premise for global, competition and help you to overcome challenges that may occur or have occurred within your organization as you proceed. Let's begin. Organizational development is complex. It is a technical field, and so are the interventions. Using, for example, the work of Cummins and Wally, these two researchers in 2009 set the base as a precept to this teaching. In this section, we will go through 18 organizational development intervention. This list, as I said, is not exhaustive, but for the sake of this teaching, we may look at them as a base. The aim is to help you grasp the vast topic better and to understand how OD relates to human resource function. Organizational development relates to human resource function. Now, typically, organizational classification of OD intervention would include, for example, human resource or human process intervention, techno-structural intervention, HRM intervention, and strategic change intervention. So we have one, human process intervention, two, techno-structural intervention, and number three, we have HRM intervention, and number four, strategic change intervention. Now we begin from the HR business partner perspective. To the CHRO, for example, we look at the map as we map out your career path. The first thing you do is to understand the tool that determines the direction to which you want to proceed based on your human or your human resource career goal and capacities. Now let's get started. Human resource intervention. Let's start with human resource intervention. Human resource process intervention are change programs that relate to interpersonal relations, group, and organizational dynamics. These are some of the earliest and best known organizational development interventions. What are they? Number one, individual interventions. One, individual interventions. These interventions are targeted to the individual, often aimed at improving communication with others. An employee is coached on interpersonal behavior that are counterproductive. An employee is coached on interpersonal behavior that are counterproductive. Number two, group interventions. What is in group intervention? These interventions are aimed at the content, the structure, or the process of the group. So the content is what the group is focusing on. The structure is how the group is designed to act on the content. The process is the way in which the group carries out its core task. For example, a contact center focuses on talking or taking complaints from customers. The contact center has a hierarchical structure with the director, managers, and customer service staffs. Now, the contact center process is to record as quickly as possible all complaints. Only a certain percent escalated to management depend on how serious and complex the complaint looks. Number three, we have what to call the third-party intervention. The third-party interventions are often used when there are conflict. Not all conflicts are bad, but bad conflicts should be resolved quickly before they spill over. So the third-party intervention helps to control and resolve the conflict. Often in the third party, the OD consultants become relevant. Number four, team building. Team building. Team building is the best known organizational development intervention. It refers to activities that help group improve the way they accomplish their task. Example of team building activities are one, volunteering team sports and pictorial, for example, to name but a few. Number five, what we call organizational confrontations meeting. Organizational confrontation meeting. Now, confrontation meeting aims to identify problems and improvement target and set priorities. It is a starting point for addressing identified problem, access or across the organization. Number six, we have intergroup relations intervention. Intergroup relations intervention. Now, intergroup relations are aimed at diagnosing and understanding in group relationship similar problems. Similarly, problems are identified and priorities and improvement targets are set before working on the identified issues. Number seven, we talk about large group intervention. Large group intervention. These interventions are somewhat in the middle of confrontation and intergroup intervention. The aim is to bring a large number of organization members and other stakeholders together. Internal as well as external stakeholders, workers, or work together collaboratively. Collaboratively. A large group intervention may address organizational wide range of problems or implement change of structure or directions. For example, if you run a car home, you will seek feedback from service users, relatives, and staff on the ways to improve the quality of the car or the quality of the life of the resident. So you may need feedback This could be starting new activities or changing the menu options. They are often referred to as open space meetings. They are referred to as open space meeting, wall cafe, future researches, and approative inquiry summit. Now, we look at what we call technostructural intervention. Technostructural intervention. Now, technostructural intervention refers to change program aimed at the technology and structure of the organization. These are becoming increasingly relevant to today's technology landscape with rapidly changing market. Number 8, organizational structure design. The functional structure of the organization is key to how it will operate. I think I've said that repeatedly on our previous teachings, that you're likely familiar with the classical hierarchical organization chart. This is referred to as functional structure. Other structures are, for example, we call them divisional, metrics, process, custom centers, or customer centers, and network. Key activities in organizational design are re-engineering and downsizing. So this involves rethinking the way work is done, repairing the organization, and restructuring it around a new business process or idea. Number 9, we're looking at the total quality management. The total quality management. The total quality management is also known as the continuous process improvement, Lean and Six Sigma. The Lean and Six Sigma. It grows out of a manufacturing emphasis on quality control. It places customer satisfaction as central to the long-term success of an organization. To achieve this, there is strong focus on total employees' involvement in the continuous improvement of product and process and workplace culture. Companies such as car manufacturer, namely like Toyota, and phone manufacturer like Motorola, use these interventions. Number 10, we're looking at work design. Number 10, we're looking at work design. Now, all work should be done in order to achieve customs. All work should be done in order to achieve outcomes. These outcomes are varied across organizations. So the way yours is looking at theirs might be different from how other organizations are looking at theirs. So there are variants in this aspect of work outcomes. Work can be designed to achieve an outcome as quick as possible, or emphasis may be placed on employees satisfaction, which can lead to a higher quality of outcome, but often this is more costly. Depending on which approach your organization chooses, the skill needed will be different also. Designing work is a way that leads to what we call optimum productivity, which is called work design. Number 11, we look at job enrichment. Job enrichment. Job enrichment is part of work design. The goal here is to create a job that is interesting and challenging for the person doing the job. For example, of factories to be taken into account are skill varied. So we have what we call skill varieties, task identity, autonomy, and feedback. Now, in this process, we have what we call the JDS. The JDS. Now, JDS diagnostic profile. Now, a job design or job diagnostic survey. A JDS is called job diagnostic survey. JDS is part of work design, an organization development intervention image based on the theory that was, advanced by Cumming and Wally in 2009, that human resource